Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I learned from deleting social media. Without further ado, let's get into it. So for starters, why did I delete social media in the first place? Well, there's two primary reasons. The first reason is because I was curious. I have been using social media for, I think, about half of my life now. I started using it when I was in high school, and I've never taken a break. I've never stopped. And part of that reason is because I never felt the need to. I always tried to limit my use of social media and never got to the point where I was like, okay, I should not be using this right now. So I was proud of that fact, but I still remained curious because I had friends and people around me quitting or not using it for periods of time. And I always wondered what that would be like if I did the same. However, because I never used it more than I thought I should have, I never got around to the point where I actually made the move to delete it off of my phone. That changed when, and this leads me to my second reason, I read a book called Dopamine Nation. This book was great because it gave me a better idea of the type of landscape and environment that we live in, where we have a scarcity mindset and where everything is in abundance for us. And our brains were not built for that type of environment. We live in an age where we can have anything that we want at any time that we want. And social media is designed to keep us coming back for more. There's a lot of research that shows negative consequences to using social media, whether it's comparing yourself to others, whether it's destroying your self-worth, distractions, not feeling like you can stay focused on one thing, cheap spikes in dopamine, which is why we keep coming back for more. But what we don't realize is that whenever we do have these cheap spikes in dopamine, we're tipping the pleasure pain balance, which is a concept that's talked about in Dopamine Nation. And if you tip too much to the side of pleasure, you're going to have to offset that and experience a bit of pain for it to find that balance again. So I read this book and I was inspired. I was like, okay, I know enough now. And I think I would benefit from deleting social media off of my phone. And so I decided to finally do it. Okay, so here's what I actually learned from deleting social media off of my phone. The first thing is that social media was the main reason why I picked up my phone. When I deleted social media, I caught myself constantly picking up my phone and staring at it and then not knowing why I had picked it up or having a reason to even continue looking at it. It was a really weird experience at first and really showed me how attached I was to my phone because of social media. Once I removed the reason why I constantly pick up my phone, I stared at it and then I just put it back down. I did notice as well that when I did pick up my phone, I was looking for a distraction or I was looking for a reason to stare at my phone. And so I kind of started exploring other apps in my iPhone, but they ended up not providing the same dopamine hit or the same reason that I kept picking up my phone. And so in the end, I kind of broke away from that and didn't really feel the need to pick up my phone as often as I did before. But it was really interesting to note that because that's data for me. That shows me that, okay, my phone is a huge driver of why I use social media. If I remove that, then maybe I'm not going to use my phone as much anymore, which there are a lot of benefits to understanding. The second thing that I realized from deleting social media off of my phone is that I had a lot more time. Now, this one may sound obvious, but you don't really get that perspective until you actually experience it. And so this was interesting for me because, as I said at the beginning of this video, I was conscious about limiting the amount of time I spent on social media. And if I haven't mentioned it yet, I spend most of my time on Instagram and X. When I deleted both of those apps off of my phone, I suddenly found myself with extra time and wondering, okay, what should I do with all of this time? I was looking at tasks where I was like, okay, I would normally complete this in this time, but suddenly I have more time to dedicate it. And I was finishing these tasks much quicker and I had time to do other things. And so from a productivity standpoint, it became very interesting because I could accomplish more in a day. If you look at it from my example and from my life, I was using social media about 30 minutes per day, sometimes less, sometimes more. If you times that times 7, that comes out to be 210 minutes, which is an average of over 3 hours per week. Imagine what you can do with extra 3 hours per week. That is the time that I was feeling and experiencing, and that was time that I was able to dedicate to other things. Now, if you're watching this video and there's a chance that you use social media for longer periods per day than I do, and you multiply that times 7, just think about how much time you would be getting back to yourself if you were to do the same. The third thing that I learned from deleting social media on my phone is that I heavily rely on it to be connected to the world. This one may also sound obvious, but you don't really feel it or understand it until you experience it. One of the reasons why I love social media is because it allows me to stay connected to my friends and my family. I can see quickly what's going on in their lives. And I know that's a very shallow way to keep up with somebody, but it is one way. There are other ways that I like to keep up with other people, but to see that visually by simply logging on to Instagram and to see a trip that someone took or a baby that someone had or an experience that someone went through is really nice. In addition to that, as you're scrolling through your feed, you see things that are happening around the world. And so it was really easy for me to log on to IG, log on to X, and to just have a picture of what was happening. As soon as I removed that, I felt like I was suddenly in a cave or something like that. And I live in a small beach town in Brazil, and I already feel far away. And I kind of felt further away because I didn't know what was going on in the world. I didn't know what my friends and family were up to unless I was actively speaking to them. And I felt super far and disconnected. This is not a bad thing or a good thing, but just something that I noticed and experienced. And it was an interesting feeling. It did get to the point where I felt so far removed that I did have to look up the news manually, which is something that I hadn't done in a really long time, because I do think it's important to stay informed on what's going on in the world. So that was one unique thing that came from this experience of being disconnected. But overall, I tried to embrace it and I tried to enjoy it, because since I've never deleted social media off of my phone, I haven't really spent time feeling disconnected. I'm reminded of trips where I've gone on for a week or two where I won't use social media and I'm in the woods hiking or I'm surfing in the ocean. But besides that, I haven't really experienced that feeling of being disconnected. And it was a really nice one. I tried to enjoy the fact that I was alone, that I didn't have to worry about these external factors potentially ruining my mood or how I was looking at the world. So I enjoyed that thing that I learned. The fourth and final thing that I learned by deleting social media off of my phone is that my ability to focus increased. This one was probably my favorite thing that I learned, because it was a very powerful thing. And it really gave me the insight I needed to make a better informed decision on how I want to continue using social media moving forward in my life. I'm going to paint a scenario. I'm willing to bet that you've also experienced this scenario, but there are so many times where I sit down to do a task, whether it's at work or it's at home. And within minutes of starting this task, I pick up my phone and I'm scrolling. And the next thing I know, 5, 10 minutes have passed, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that I was even working on this task. And then it becomes a cycle where I refocus and I'm working on this task, and then I pick up my phone and I'm getting distracted again. And over time, you're just not ever truly focusing, right? This is what multitasking is. Multitasking is rapidly switching from task to task. You're not focusing on multiple things at once. You're just quickly switching. Think about how quickly that drains your battery. Think about how quickly that reduces your brain's ability to focus on something. And because I've been using social media for so long, and because I've been distracted for so long, basically, I didn't really truly understand what that was like until I removed the distractions from my phone. And then I gave my brain the time to reset and to actually deeply focus on a task, one thing at a time. This proved to be super beneficial and helpful for me, because I actually just embarked on a new journey, which I'll be sharing later about on this channel. And I need to focus a lot. It's a lot of work that I have on my plate. And deleting social media off of my phone, removing these distractions, has helped me greatly, because one, I have more time, and then two, I'm not as distracted as I would be if I have Instagram and X right in front of my face. It reminds me of when I cut out alcohol from my life. Cutting out alcohol allowed me to reset my body and to refocus on my health. And then I fell in love with reading, and I haven't stopped reading ever since. It paved the path for me to develop the ability to read at the level that I want to and the amount of books that I want to. And I'm really hopeful that deleting social media will work in conjunction with this new ability to stay focused longer and to accomplish more and to reach all of these visions and goals that I have for myself. Our ability to focus is like a muscle. And if you give your brain, yourself, a chance to focus on tasks, it will get better over time. If you give yourself a chance to focus and sit with one task for 25 minutes and then slowly increase to 30 or to 45 to an hour, your brain will get better at being able to just sit there without feeling the need to take a break or to be distracted by things. Obviously, you need to set up the environment so that there are no distractions around you. Make sure the TV's off, make sure your phone is in a different room, or make sure you've deleted the apps off of your phone. Make sure it's quiet, make sure the space is ideal. But doing so can really, really enhance your ability to focus. And I experienced that firsthand over the last 30 days that I deleted social media from my phone. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, there is so much to be learned and experienced by deleting social media from your phone, from taking a break from it. I only did 30 days, and admittedly, I did re download the apps once I hit the 30-day mark. But I will share that the second that I did and I logged on, I did not like the feeling of just being there and scrolling mindlessly. I think I spent maybe 5 minutes on the apps before I put my phone down and I moved on to something else. So this is my plan. I mentioned earlier in this video that I gained new insight. This new insight is I have way too much knowledge and power now that I know the positive effects of deleting these distractions from my phone. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep them on my phone because I value them, but I'm going to trust myself and make a promise to myself that I'm not going to abuse them or I'm not going to let them detract for what I'm really focused on right now. And so I've set a specific time and a place where I'll be able to use them, and I'm going to honor that. And that's going to be Sundays at home, no more than 1 hour. And that's going to be just once per week. That is the agreement that I'm setting with myself, and I'm going to stick to it. I challenge you to do a similar experiment. Set a time frame, whether it's 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, whatever, and see what you experience when you delete social media and these distractions from your phone. Along the same vein, if you're interested in Dopamine Nation, which is the book that I read that inspired me to do this in the first place, check it out here, which I'm linking, and you'll learn a lot about this landscape that we currently live in and where we can learn to better navigate this landscape where there are opportunities everywhere for our dopamine levels to get spiked. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for your time and your interest. Please subscribe if this interests you or you find value in it, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Thank you.